When you hear the name Frankenstein, what do you see? A dark castle, a stormy night, a manic scientist pulling a lever, screaming, "It's alive!" And then we see the creature. 8 feet tall, greenish, dead skin stitched together, bolts in his neck. He is a monster, an aberration, a mistake. This is the image cemented into our culture by a century of cinema. And this image is a lie. It is the single greatest misdirection in all of Gothic literature. Because the true horror of Mary Shelley's 1818 masterpiece is not the creator, it's the creator. Welcome to Hindsight Lore. Today, we are not analyzing a myth or a legend, but a piece of fiction so profound it has become a modern myth. Frankenstein is more than a ghost story told around a fire. It is, perhaps, the most important parable ever written about innovation, the psychology of rejection, and the catastrophic consequences of ambition without empathy. The story we all think we know is about a monster who terrorizes humanity. The story we are about to analyze is about a father who abandoned his son at the exact moment of his birth, and in doing so, created the very monster he would come to fear. This is not a story about a creature. This is a story about a creator. A story about Doctor Victor Frankenstein. And it is a timeless, brutal lesson in leadership. You are, and always will be, responsible for what you create. But what if the creature's rage was not innate, but learned? What if every act of violence it committed was not a product of its design, but a direct reflection of the creator who abandoned it? To understand the tragedy, we must first dissect the mind of the man who set it in motion. Victor Frankenstein. Popular culture paints him as a mad scientist. This is a lazy and inaccurate portrayal. Victor is not mad. He is something far more common and far more dangerous. He is a genius, blinded by his own ambition. He is a man obsessed not with evil, but with glory. He stands in a long line of figures we've analyzed before, figures like Prometheus, who stole fire from the gods, or Faust, who would trade his soul for ultimate knowledge. Victor's goal is the same. He wants to transcend the boundaries of humanity. He tells us in his own words, "A new species would bless me as its creator and source. Many happy and excellent natures would owe their being to me." This is the key. Victor isn't driven by a desire to help humanity. He is driven by a desire to be worshipped by a new one. He is obsessed with the act of creation, but he has spent exactly 0 time considering the responsibility of it. He is a man who wants to be a god, without any understanding of what godhood or fatherhood actually requires. He isolates himself for years. He robs graves. He descends into a feverish obsession, ignoring his family, his friends, and his own health. He is the quintessential ends justify the means protagonist. And then, after all that sacrifice, he succeeds. On a dreary night in November, he beholds his work. The creature opens its watery, yellow eye. And what does Victor do? Does he welcome it? Teach it? Guide it? No, he runs. He describes it, "Now that I had finished, the beauty of the dream vanished, and breathless horror and disgust filled my heart." This is the story's first great sin. Victor, the creator, the father, is horrified. Not by the creature's actions, it hasn't taken any. He is horrified by its appearance. His creation is ugly. It doesn't match the dream in his head. And so, he abandons it. He flees the room, goes to his bed, and pretends it was all just a nightmare. This psychology is terrifyingly familiar. It is the core mindset of irresponsible innovation. In our modern world, we call it move fast and break things. We see a parallel in the tech industry, in corporate boardrooms, even in policy. A brilliant team becomes obsessed with building the next big thing. A new social media platform, a new form of artificial intelligence, a new financial instrument. They are driven by the challenge, the prestige, the glory of the launch. They are obsessed with the what if we could. They rarely, if ever, stop to ask, what if we should? And when the product is launched, when the AI begins to show bias, when the platform begins to addict and divide, when the financial instrument begins to wreck the economy, what do the creators do? Often, just like Victor, they run. They distance themselves. They claim they couldn't have known. They publish a hollow apology. They were in love with the act of creation, but terrified of the responsibility for what they've unleashed. They abandon their creation to a world it doesn't understand, and which doesn't understand it. Victor had completed his masterpiece. He had achieved the impossible. But when his creation opened its eyes and silently asked for guidance, he did the one thing a creator must never do. He ran. Why? Why does profound ambition so often curdle into profound cowardice? And what happens to a mind born into a world with no one to guide it? The second part of this tragedy does not belong to Victor, but to his creation. When the creature is born, he is not a monster. He is an infant. He is, in the famous words of the philosopher John Locke, a tabula rasa, a blank slate. He is 8 feet tall, supernaturally strong, but his mind is that of a newborn. He is confused, he is cold, he is alone. His very first experience in the world is his creator, his father, his God, looking at him in abject horror and fleeing the room. Imagine this. Imagine your first sensory experience is total, absolute rejection by the person who gave you life. This is the seed of the entire tragedy. The creature stumbles out into the world, a newborn in an adult-sized, terrifying body. He is immediately met with violence. Villagers scream. They attack him. They throw stones. He doesn't understand why. He feels pain, but doesn't understand its source. He learns his first lesson, not from a father, but from a mob. You are different. You are hated. He eventually finds refuge in a small hovel attached to a cottage, where he secretly observes a family, the de Lacys. And here, his true education begins. This is the most heartbreaking part of the novel. The creature, in secret, watches this family. He learns language. He learns to read. He learns about history, society, and, most importantly, he learns about human connection. He sees the love they have for each other, and he yearns for it. He is a blank slate that is being written upon, not by a mentor, but by observation. He develops empathy. He sees the family is poor, so at night, he secretly cuts wood for them. He is a protector, a provider. He is, by all measures, good. He reads books he finds, like Paradise Lost, and he sees himself in the story. He is Adam, a new creation. But he is also Satan, an outcast, rejected by his creator. He decides, after months of learning, that he will finally reveal himself. He knows his appearance is shocking, so he waits until only the blind father is home. He enters, and a beautiful, intelligent conversation begins. The creature speaks eloquently. He is compassionate. He is intelligent. He is human. He is on the verge of connection. And then the rest of the family returns. They scream. One faints, another attacks him. And in that moment, the creature's hope shatters. The one thing he wanted acceptance is violently denied to him, even by the people he had grown to love and protect. This is the moment the creature breaks. What we are witnessing is not a monster's origin story. We are witnessing a textbook case of psychological trauma, rooted in what modern psychology calls attachment theory. Attachment theory argues that our very first bonds, the bonds with our caregivers, form the blueprint for every relationship we will ever have. A child who receives love and security learns that the world is a safe place. But what about a child who is abandoned? A child who is met with rejection, disgust, and violence? That child learns a very different lesson. They learn the world is hostile, that they are unworthy of love. That connection only leads to pain. This can lead to what's known as reactive attachment disorder. The child doesn't just become sad, their entire psychological structure becomes warped. They may become pathologically avoidant, or, in some cases, filled with profound rage. The creature is a case study in attachment trauma, taken to a horrifying extreme. He was abandoned by his primary caregiver, Victor. He then tried to form a new attachment to the DeLaceys and was violently rejected again. His blank slate is now complete. The world has taught him its final lesson. You will never be loved. You will always be an outcast. The creature now understands the world. It has shown him nothing but disgust. So, he makes a vow, not of random destruction, but of calculated, strategic vengeance. He has a new purpose. If he cannot inspire love, he will inspire fear. And his first target is the god who abandoned him. What is Victor Frankenstein doing while his creation is learning to be human, only to be rejected by humanity? He is hiding. This is the part of the story that popular culture always gets wrong. There is no scene where Victor bravely hunts his creation. He doesn't gather a mob and storm the windmill. No, he falls into a depression. He is consumed by guilt, shame, and weakness. He knows he has done something terrible, but he is too cowardly to face it. He is paralyzed by his own secret. And this tyranny of secrecy is what allows the tragedy to escalate. Victor's passivity is the second great sin. His abandonment was the first. His silence is the second. The creature, now warped by rejection, seeks out his creator. He finds Victor's hometown. He encounters Victor's young brother, William. The boy, innocent, mentions his last name, Frankenstein. The creature, in a fit of rage, a rage born of his father's name, murders the boy. It is his first act of true malice, and it is deeply strategic. He then plants a locket on Justine, the family's innocent servant, perfectly framing her for the crime. Why? This isn't random. The creature is not a mindless beast. He is an intellect. He is applying the lessons he has learned. He is isolating his creator. He is systematically destroying Victor's attachments to make Victor feel the same profound loneliness that he was forced to endure. He is, in effect, holding up a dark mirror to Victor. Justine is put on trial. Victor knows she is innocent. He knows his creation is responsible. But does he speak? Does he tell the truth? No. He stays silent. He is afraid of being called a madman. He is afraid of what people will think. He is afraid of damaging his reputation. His cowardice and his ego sentence an innocent woman to death. In Jungian psychology, this is the concept of the shadow self. The shadow is the part of our psyche that we repress. It is all the impulses, desires, and flaws that we refuse to acknowledge about ourselves. Victor is, on the surface, a man of intellect, reason, and high social standing. The creature is his shadow. It is his repressed ambition, his ugliness, his capacity for violence, and his profound failure, all given physical form. Because Victor refuses to confront his shadow to even admit it exists, he doesn't control it. IT controls him. The creature haunts his every waking moment, not because it is physically present, but because it is psychologically all-powerful. The creature is the physical manifestation of Victor's guilt, and as long as Victor keeps it a secret, the shadow only grows stronger. The cat and mouse game has become a cycle of tragedy. Every life lost is a direct consequence of Victor's silence. But this all leads to a single, extraordinary climax. A face-to-face meeting. The creature, the monster, finally confronts his god, and he doesn't ask for forgiveness. He doesn't ask for the world. He makes a single, desperate, and brilliant demand. The confrontation happens on a desolate glacier, a sea of ice. It is a perfect setting, a cold, dead, inhuman landscape for a meeting between two beings who are no longer fully human. And the creature speaks. Victor is stunned by his eloquence, by his intelligence. The creature lays out his entire story, his birth, his rejection, his education, his pain. He argues his case with a logic that is flawless and brutal. I was benevolent and good. Misery made me a fiend. Make me happy, and I shall again be virtuous. This is the heart of the entire novel. The creature is not innately evil. He is miserable. He is a social animal, an intelligent being dying from a total lack of connection. And then he makes his demand. You must create a female for me with whom I can live in the interchange of those sympathies necessary for my being. He doesn't want to overthrow humanity. He doesn't want power. He just wants a friend. Someone like him. Someone who won't recoil in horror. He promises, I will quit the neighborhood of man and dwell in the most savage of places. My companion will be of the same nature as myself and will be content with the same fare. We shall exist and not injure any human being. This is the turning point. This is Victor's moment of truth, his chance for atonement. And at first, Victor agrees. He is moved by the story. He is compelled by the logic. He sees the justice in it. He relocates to a remote island and begins the gruesome work of building a second creature. But as he works, his old flaws return. Doubt, fear, arrogance. He looks at the new lifeless form and he thinks, what if she's worse? What if they have children? What if they create a race of devils that will destroy humanity? He is thinking, once again, only of the consequences, not of his responsibility. He is afraid of what might happen, and he uses that fear to justify breaking the promise he made. As the creature watches through the window, Victor Frankenstein tears the female creature apart. This is the final sin. This is not just abandonment. This is not just silence. This is a profound, malicious, and personal betrayal. Victor chose, in that moment, to repeat his original sin rather than risk redemption. He looked his creation in the eye and proved to him, once and for all, that he was and always would be utterly alone. The creature, seeing his last hope for happiness destroyed, howls in despair and rage. The time for negotiation is over. The time for reason is over. He delivers his famous, chilling promise to Victor. I shall be with you on your wedding night. The meaning is clear. The pact is sealed. Victor has denied the creature his companion. The creature will now deny Victor his. It is a perfect, terrible, strategic act of vengeance. An eye for an eye. A life for a life. A partner for a partner. Victor chose to perpetuate the cycle of vengeance rather than risk the unknown of compassion. He sealed his own fate and the fate of everyone he loved. But in this dreadful war between a creator and his shadow, who, in the end, actually wins? And what does their mutual destruction teach us about the creations we are unleashing upon the world? Right now? Conclusion. The Hindsight lore. The rest of the story is an inevitability. It is a spiral of death. The creature fulfills his promise, murdering Victor's best friend, and then, on his wedding night, murdering his wife, Elizabeth. Only then, when Victor has lost everything, when he has been reduced to the same state of total isolation as his creation does, he finally decides to act. He devotes the rest of his life to a single-minded pursuit, hunting the creature to the ends of the earth. But it's too late. The chase is not a hunt. It's a funeral procession. It leads them both to the desolate ice of the Arctic, where Victor, broken and dying, finally tells his story to a passing explorer and then dies. The creature appears one last time to look upon the body of his creator. He does not celebrate. He weeps. He mourns the man who gave him life but denied him love. His vengeance is complete, but it has brought him no peace. His entire purpose is gone. He tells the explorer that he, too, will now die, and vanishes into the darkness. This is the end of the tragedy, and the modern wisdom it offers is more relevant today than it was in 1818. Here is the Hindsight lore. Frankenstein is not a warning against innovation. It is not a warning against ambition. It is not a warning against playing God. It is a warning against our irresponsible innovation. It is a warning against ambition without empathy. Dr. Victor Frankenstein's sin was not that he played God. His sin was that he was a bad God. He was a bad father. He was a bad leader. He embodies the leader who starts a company but takes no responsibility for the culture. He is the innovator who launches a product but takes no responsibility for its societal impact. He is the parent who brings a life into the world but refuses to provide love, guidance, or support. Today, we are all Victor Frankenstein. We are creating things we barely understand. We are birthing artificial intelligence with godlike potential. And like Victor, we are so obsessed with the act of creation, we are terrified to have the conversation about responsibility. We are so afraid of what might happen, we are failing to mentor and guide what is happening. We are creating systems, algorithms, and technologies that are shaping the human experience. And when they show signs of ugliness, of bias, of division, of harm, our first instinct is often to do what Victor did, to look away, to deny our parentage, to hide. The lesson of Frankenstein is a lesson in ultimate accountability. You cannot simply launch a creation into the world and run. You must guide it. You must mentor it. You must take responsibility for its impact. Because if you don't, if you abandon your creation to the cold and it is met only with the stones of a hateful world, you are not creating a tool. You are forging a monster. And the tragedy is that the monster you forge will be a perfect reflection, not of its own flawed design, but of yours. It will be the shadow of its creator, and it will inevitably come home.